What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Philly Sports Expert here. I'm here with my co-host, Matt Herman, and today we're going to talk about the Eagles' tough loss to the Steelers this past weekend. And, Matt, I'm honestly not that disappointed in the game, and, I mean, it's upsetting to see them lose, but the way they played, and especially the way Carson Wentz played, I was kind of encouraged a little bit to see kind of him get back into that little bit of a rhythm and be able to kind of put this team on his back towards the end of the game and bring this team back. So I know it was a tough loss, but I mean, I think Carson Wentz definitely showed something in that game. And I mean, we can't forget about Travis Fulgham just coming out of nowhere.
Absolute animal, baby.
Yeah, so I mean, he looked great. So I mean, what was your take on that game this past Sunday?
My takeaway is that that's the best Carson's looked in a good amount of time. If not just this year, then even going back a little bit in the last year. I don't know how follow Pro Football Focus. He was the fourth highest graded quarterback.
Yeah.
This week. Part of that is being brought by the fact that he had a perfect quarterback rating when he was targeting Travis Fulgham, 158.3. So big boost there. Hopefully, like we've talked about in the past episodes, he just continues to build on that with his confidence. Like, I know we're getting Alshon and Deshaun back, but you really that's just like swapping like these old worn out dogs for these young guys that Carson's building rapport with. He's got confidence in them, and I mean, they better be showing you something in camp if you're gonna play like old Alshon who hasn't done anything since the Super Bowl, and Deshaun who hasn't done anything since the first game of 2008 or 19.
Yeah, last year.
You can't take these guys out. I mean, even Greg Wars, he's running good routes. He obviously didn't have the production, but he's better than we were used to having.
Yeah, you know what? Like, it's pretty interesting to see how he kind of played this Sunday because I mean he was a 6th-round pick, got cut by a couple teams, I believe.
Got cut by Detroit.
Yeah, and then I mean he comes here and I mean Matt, he was making catches that I haven't seen Eagles receivers make in a long time. He made a catch over the middle of the field with like 2 or 3 guys right around him. He made some catches on the side, just like going up and grabbing the ball. And it was just, I mean, it was great to see. It was kind of just like, you could tell that Carson Wentz just like felt this confidence. And first off with Carson Wentz, not only did he look more confident, it looked like his footwork improved, 1. And 2, he looked like he was dropping back in the pocket. And he almost looked like he was going through his progressions a little bit better. It looked like he was more relaxed and under control and not forcing things. And I know we talked about the offensive line. I think they played pretty darn well. Besides the last drive, I think Jordan Mailata's looked awesome.
I think he's been fantastic. But I think Matt Pryor still stinks. Nate Herbig, like the big bouncy ball that he keeps chugging out. We need Lane Johnson to hopefully stay healthy because I mean that's a big thing. I think not to really divert off track. I think the fact that obviously you feel bad for him, like you never wish it upon anybody, but the fact that the Dak Prescott is now out for the rest of the year and looking at the just absolute dumpster fire that you have in Washington and New York and in Philadelphia.
Win the division. Absolutely win the
division. If we don't win this division, we got to blow it up because it's never going to be easier.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's bad. I mean, it's really – I mean, look, we don't like the Cowboys, but, I mean, like, you never want to see an injury like that. I mean, that was just a terrible injury. I mean, hopefully the guy kind of recovers. But like you said, with this team, like, I almost want to talk – I mean, Howie Roseman, for instance, right? Like, obviously I don't think Howie's done a great job since the Super Bowl putting this team together, but I will say I will give him credit. I mean, look at the guys he's had on the practice squad in Greg Ward and Travis Fulgham. So – those are 2 guys that kind of have come out of nowhere and have been 2 most reliable wide receivers this year. And I really hope this Sunday, that Alshon and Deshaun do not take snaps away from Fulgham. I mean, I hope Arcega-Whiteside, I mean, if he doesn't dress, I mean, that's a joke. I mean,
I saw a tweet. I'm kind of ready to ride with it. It says, just start thinking of Travis Fulgham as the pick that we took JJ. And think of JJ or think of Whiteside as an undrafted free agent that we signed.
Yeah, I mean, I still cannot believe. I mean, TJ Metcalf is unbelievable watching that kid play football. So I mean, even though kind of funny.
TJ Brown from Tennessee, like there are a lot of receivers that we could have had. So we wound up with that. The guy looks like Borat. He's horrible.
kind of funny that he made a pretty nice catch at the end of the first half, and then the clock ran out. So
yeah, and then he celebrated and then realized that the time was running out. He probably would have gotten off anyway, but I mean, yeah, I guess he was just so surprised that, a ball came in his direction.
He actually caught the damn thing. So, I don't know if you saw this, but I kind of want to talk about this tweet I saw. I believe it was Jeff McClain that tweeted that that Howie Roseman has a lot of say in the personnel decisions with who actually is dressing on Sundays. And I feel like he's only letting, and it said something about how he's letting the coaching staff know on the Wednesday before practice who's going to be available to play. And when I saw that, my first thought was I didn't understand why that's a thing. And second of all is, what's he doing? Like, Howie.
Yeah, I just kind of hope that's fake news because
that cannot be a thing where you have guys who you're telling your head coach and your coaching staff what guys are eligible to play on the Wednesday before a game on Sunday. I mean, if that's true,
that has nothing to do with even the role of a general manager. Like, let the
head coach do that.
Like, I don't know. And if that is the case, then you have to wonder, like, does that have anything to do with the injury history this team has had in the past couple of years? If Howie's the one that's dictating, like,
it definitely causes question marks. Definitely raises questions. So I don't know. I mean, I know we talked about there's a video that came out, a leaked video that Doug was freaking out at Howie. So maybe these kind of relate to one another. But I mean, if that is true,
we should go back and see if that was on a Wednesday.
Yeah, no, we should. We should kind of check that out because
just investigate.
I mean, you raised a really good point there. I mean, look at all the injuries this team had. I mean, they haven't been healthy since even in 2016, Carson Wentz went down his rookie year. Then the Super Bowl run, we obviously know the injuries. We haven't been healthy. So
here's another rip on Howie Roseman for you, unrelated to the injury thing. Did you know that Sidney Jones is the highest graded quarterback in the NFL this year? And Rasul Douglas and what's his face with Washington, Ronald Darby, are the 28th and 29th highest graded cornerbacks, which means they're all grading out as a number one cornerback.
I didn't actually see that stat, but I did see highlights from Sidney Jones where he looked – I think he had an interception for the Jags, made a couple nice plays. And where has that been? I think that really shows that it's defensive coordinator how pathetic he is. And now you mentioned that, I think we should – let's get into what happened in that last play with –
All you got to talk about, like you said, last play – the fact that what's his face?
Nathan Gary?
Yeah, Nathan Gary was lined up there on a receiver who had already caught 3 touchdowns in that game. In the crunch time, of the game. And even the guy who came out and said, Ben pretty much told the defense, he's throwing it to me. And they didn't do anything. And also on Doug for, giving Big Ben props. Instead of saying, we screwed up, why don't you just say, just say it was our fault. It was a stupid play. Instead, it was a good play by Big Ben to throw to the sick rookie wide receiver being covered by a washed-up bum of a linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Not only did he compliment Doug, they almost said, they complimented Doug, and the first thing they said was how, which is it was remarkable. Jim Schwartz says, yeah, we had them in cover 2, and they made a good play. First off, why in the world in that situation are you in cover 2 with the game on the line and you have a linebacker trying to cover a receiver in that situation? Football X's knows way more than I do, and I think everyone was looking at that play and it's like, Jim Schwartz, why are you having a linebacker who is by far your worst linebacker in terms of in the passing game, can't cover anyone, can't cover for a lick, and you have him on a guy who's been tortured. He's been playing almost a tight end role all day, which has been eating up this defense all year long, and you put him on their best player of that game on the most important play of the football game.
Yeah, must have money on the Steelers. That's the only thing I can think of.
I cannot believe. And the fact that they came out and they just said the Steelers did a good job of executing that play, and Ben Roethlisberger were kind of realizing what was going on, and that's not an excuse. I think you talked about the cornerbacks going to other places and succeeding. You talk about this defense just consistently making bonehead plays like that. I think it's just showing that it's on Jim Schwartz, and I think And he hasn't really – I mean, he's come out and owned it one game. And actually, the game he came out and owned it, they looked better. But I don't know why this team or the defense continues to make mistakes like this over and over and over again, and no one's holding anyone accountable.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no flow to this defense. You know, some aspects of the game on the defensive side of the ball will look good one week, and then they'll struggle in other areas. They don't really feed off each other. They don't like play cohesively. Like, you know, like our defensive line has been getting after it. Like
we've been playing great.
We've had some of the secondary, like, you know, make great plays in coverage, come up and make tackles. But it's almost like you have to wonder if, like, the fact that our linebacking core is so weak, if that's like that's like what connects the line to the secondary. Like they move to whichever side needs it more. And I guess there's like an inconsistent relationship there. Maybe that's what's, you know, just causing the struggle.
Yeah, and then Jim Schwartz came out and said, someone asked him about the linebacking core, and Jim Schwartz said he's confident with the guys they have, and he said they've invested in their team. They've invested in a 6th-round pick from Temple and a 3rd-round pick from Colorado State, right? I believe it's Colorado State, and Davion Taylor, who's played very little football. Yeah. You know, I mean, when is the last time they had and then he says they invested in Nigel Bradham. Before Nigel Bradham came to the Eagles, he was not a very known linebacker. He was a very average rotational linebacker. So I don't know what he's talking about when he says
let's bring back Kiko Alonso, trade Miles Sanders for him.
Oh yeah, that was pathetic, that trade.
He's probably playing better right now than any linebacker on our team.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, speaking of that trade, yeah. I mean, every guy that leaves the Eagles goes out and balls out. I mean, Sidney Jones.
Jordan Hicks is an absolute animal in Arizona. He's a captain of their defense.
Yeah, Jordan Hicks, Sidney Jones, Rasul Douglas. I mean, we know what Malcolm Jenkins does. I mean, you just look at other guys around the league that are successful after the Eagles. So I don't know. I mean, the only thing we can say is hopefully, I know Will Parks got activated, and I know he's going to be back this Sunday. So I think he can kind of be like another safety that can kind of run around the field and kind of just give you more secondary coverage, which can definitely boost your coverage in the secondary. So I really hope that can be a benefit for this team, but I don't know. I don't know how you restructure this defense. I don't know if it's more the personnel or is it your play calling or your scheme or whatnot, but they better figure it out. I mean, like you said, this division, it's pretty much ours. You have probably 2 of the worst 3 or 4 teams in football. You have the Dallas Cowboys just lose their franchise quarterback, and then we have us. So I mean, there is no excuses for us to lose this division. I mean, knowing this team, we're going to win the division at 6-10, 7-9, which is a joke. I don't even think we should be allowed. But I mean, most likely it's going to be us winning the division. I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but there should be no excuses for them losing. So I don't know what they're going to do.
I saw Brandon Brooks on his Insta stories today had some cleats on. So
I know, I did see that.
Make it into the postseason. You know, it gives Lane a few weeks off at the end of the year to heal his ankle up. You get Brandon Brooks back. You know, you cement the left side of the line with Mailata, Herbig, Kelsey, Brooks, Johnson. The receivers get healthy. You know, defense figures it out. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, a lot of positive, you know, opportunities that are up to chance. I'll say, but like you still got possibilities to be possible.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
Make the playoffs, like guys get healthy, figure stuff out. Like you make a run, it's happened.
Yeah, I mean, look at last year. I truly believe if Wentz didn't go down, I think we could have really almost won that game. So, I mean,
that game, the way that went down with we had. I mean, I love the guy Josh McCown. They're on a torn hamstring.
Yeah,
better than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you know, we talk about the line. So we talk about the offensive line, and I mean, I don't know how when these guys come back, I don't know how you take Mailata and Herbig out. I think they've played pretty well on the left side.
I think you leave them in, no doubt. I think if Samalu gets back before, I mean, if Samalu will be back before Brandon Brooks.
Would you put him in over Herbig?
I'd put him in at right tackle, or ask Herbig where he wants to go, right or left guard, and then put Sam Mailata at the other one. Leave Mailata at left tackle, regardless, unless Jason Peters like eats some magic steroids or something and take 10 years off. And then, you know, like either Driscoll or Johnson at right tackle. And I think the line is starting to get some reps in with each other. And I'm not too worried about the offensive line. I think, you know, our receiving core needs to figure it out. I think We got to get our tight ends, back
Zach
on
Ertz
track.
needs to pick it. He needs to figure it out. I don't know what the hell's up his ass.
He's not getting the money that he wants if he doesn't.
He doesn't deserve it. I mean, we talk about when they played the 49ers, it was like the line Kittle and him don't even compare.
No. Although if he was going against our linebackers in coverage, he might have had 200 yards. Who knows?
So this is the last point for today. I want to get your opinion on this. So we talked about Travis Fulgham having a breakout game, and then we know we'll see. I mean, if Jackson and Alshon come back, but I mean, would you almost think about just getting rid of one of them, like just cutting them if they keep getting hurt like this? I know that's a bold take, and I'm not saying I would cut them, but it leaves you to kind of question because you're going to have Rager coming back. You're still going to have Greg. You're still going to have Greg Ward, and you're still going to have obviously Fulgham, and then I think Whiteside. But I don't know if you're ready. You can just give up on a second round pick. So I mean, I don't know where. I think Deshaun will get on the field, but I don't know where Alshon's really going to fit into this. I don't know what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it a lot depends on what they're looking at doing, like in terms of adding players, before the deadline, because I mean you might have to make room / be able to unload them for like cheap at the deadline.
Yeah,
but if you're not picking someone up, I think Alshon and Deshaun are gone next year anyway. So I mean, I do think they are a positive value. If they can be healthy, they can produce on the field. But if there's a better player out there to help this team, I think unload them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
stupidly, I'd like to say just shoot JJ Arcega-Whiteside to the moon and say goodbye, because I look at him like a Markelle Fultz, just like no heart, like views himself as a bust, and he needs like a mental overhaul, and I don't have the energy to go through that again.
You know what? I agree. I think he's really, really struggled. But, I mean, I will say, though, I wish the coaching staff would kind of design plays for him to get him the ball just to, see if he, what he can do. You know what I mean?
Made a nice block on Miles' touchdown.
Yeah.
Best play of his career.
Yes, best play of his career. So,
last point, real fast. Do you know that DK Metcalf has more touchdown receptions than Arcega-Whiteside has receptions?
That's I mean, what does that say about Howie Roseman and their drafting of receivers?
DK Metcalf running around cones too slow convinced Howie that he couldn't be a good receiver.
Someone said he's the next. What is it? I think it was the next Calvin Johnson in the NFL.
Megatron. To be fair, that was Jamal Adams, who is on his team. So
yeah.
But I mean, he's the closest thing in the league there is today. I don't think he has the go up and get it ability of Calvin Johnson just yet. But I mean, there's no one closer physically.
No. I mean, the guy's an absolute stud. And when's the last time T.O.'s probably the last guy we had? He was really like that.
Well, besides Dorial Green Beckham, yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a pretty good pick, and he traded for him, but
he was a freak of nature. He just wasn't meant to play wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's like 4.35 40 and like 6'5". He just sucked.
Yeah, no, he was brutal. But thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see this Sunday. I mean, I think this is going to be a tough one this Sunday, but hopefully Carson and the team, I know they were talking about with Jalen Hurts kind of running schemes with kind of like a Lamar Jackson. So hopefully that can help this team, and it would be a great win. I know there's going to be 7,500 fans back in the link, and I think that could definitely help this team kind of get rolling. So thanks again for tuning in to Philly Sports Experts, and we will be back to kind of cover the hopefully a W this Sunday. So thanks everyone again, and hopefully we get a win this Sunday.